I remember going to the doctor and they, you know, prescribed me Xanax at 16 years old.
Whoa.
And I struggled for a couple of years, really everywhere I went. I had to, take something, which is so not like me because I barely even take Tylenol today. But then I became hooked on it. And I really, really struggled because I was in such a deep place because I was having such horrible panic attacks. I remember one time being in Panera and I just had if anybody listening has ever had a panic attack, but like it just like everything closes in on you and you just have to get out, and it was just horrible. I couldn't fly. I couldn't do all these things. And God really, no pun intended, totally restored me. Like he healed me. I went cold turkey one day. I stopped taking the pills and just my life was, I had always been in church, but God totally just restored and healed my life.
Hey friends, welcome back to the Wealthy and Well-Known podcast. I'm so excited to introduce you to someone who's become a dear friend of mine, someone that I respect as a colleague and a professional. I have the opportunity to serve her as a client, our team does, and I think she is one of the fastest rising stars in the world of personal development and building a personal brand. But she is no stranger to success. She is one of the top people at Keller Williams and has been for years. Her team closes, get this, 1.5 billion with a B dollars in annual transactions. She's worked directly with Gary Keller. She's been a part of their team. She runs one of the co-hosts one of the top real estate podcasts in the world. It's called Everything Life in Real Estate. It's a top 1% podcast that she co-hosts with Linda McKissick. She is the author of this new book, Restore 90 Days of Intentional Living, which we're going to talk about. She's also in John Maxwell's High Capacity Leadership Mentorship Program. So she mentors directly with John, who also is a friend of mine. I actually just got to speak to their group. And this woman is just on the move. And we're going to talk about today all things about how to use your personal brand to drive leads for your business, grow any type of business, specifically professional services and advisory of any type, and then talk a little bit about her faith journey and her setbacks and how she's gotten to be everything that she has become. So, Dana, welcome to the show, friend.
Thank you so much for having me. That was quite the intro. Thank you.
Yes. So one of the things that I love about Brand Builders Group, which I don't think enough people understand yet, is when people hear Brand Builders Group or they hear personal branding, they go, oh, I have to be a coach to work with you guys, or I have to be a speaker, or I have to be a consultant. And I always am frustrated. I'm like, no, more than 50% of our clients are professional services.
Yeah.
They're people in real estate, they're financial advisors, they're lawyers, they're doctors, like they're accountants. How much has building a personal brand mattered, do you think, in your actual business, your real business? You make your money in real estate.
Yeah.
How much has been having a personal brand mattered in that journey?
It has been huge. And all I can see when you say that, Rory, are the personal brands trends that you guys put out. Like every slide, I think I have the whole entire thing memorized because I really felt blessed that I started this kind of early on. I was an early adopter of building a brand. And now it's it. I mean, if you don't have it, no matter what industry, and your trends show that, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a real estate professional, whatever it is that you look like, everyone wants to know that you have a personal brand because they want to see if they align with you or not. And I feel like specifically in real estate, I've seen a lot of realtors or real estate brokerage owners, even they just get stuck in that transaction, like the day-to-day transaction. And now they're slower and they haven't adapted and they haven't built a brand or they haven't adopted to social media like they should have. And they're wondering why their business is changing. And I'm like, you guys, it is this is the new world. Like people want to know who they're working with on a deeper level. And your trends really were what completely changed the game for me when I saw that.
Yeah, the data's very clear and compelling.
Very clear.
So let's talk about real estate specifically, although most people watching this are probably not in real estate. I'm sure several are, but a lot of people are entrepreneurs.
Totally.
But I just want to hear in real estate specifically, what do you think the people who are building a personal brand in real estate are doing right? Like, and what are the the things they're doing wrong when they're trying to build their personal brand?
Okay. And I think this could be really, like you said, with anybody that's an entrepreneur, but specifically in real estate, I think the ones that are doing it right, and I have so many that pop into my head, they're being real, they're being consistent, they're being authentic.
Mm.
They are not making it all about business. They're showing things that they like to do, the values that they have, things that matter to them. They're going really hyper local and they're branding themselves almost like niching themselves in really hyper local to where they sell.
Like geographically?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I have one of my top agents, his name's Roger Wilcutt in Columbus, Ohio. He's in my Columbus office. He has niched himself. His brand is incredible. He's niched himself so deep into this one condo building that he actually lives in. But I mean, he's a million, 2 million GCI agent a year. He'll do
gross commissionable income.
Yep,
GCI.
you got it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is because he has built his brand. He has 3 golden retrievers. They are part of his brand. I mean, it's all the things that people think about when they think about you, like you've taught us. I think the ones that are doing it wrong are posting, sold another, just closed, had another, worked with this client. Like they aren't getting it that people want to know about them and what they're into. They're transactional still, if that makes sense.
So when you were describing this story, what's his name in
Roger.
Columbus? Roger.
Yeah.
We talk about Sheehan's wall.
Yes.
And how the way to break through is not to try to have multiple streams of income or be known by everybody, but to be known and master like one very small group.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a real life story of this guy has made over $1 million a year.
Yes.
Niching down, not a state, a county, a town, or a neighborhood.
Like a block.
But you're talking about one block.
Yes.
But it's like, if you're interested in that block,
yep.
This is
He's
the guy.
Yeah, totally. And I will say one thing I want to touch on that. I remember when I very first started with brand builders and I was going through this Sheehan's wall and kind of working through that. And it's like a mind trip for a lot of entrepreneurs, at least in our world, because we are taught you need to have 7 streams of income. So, at first I was like, wait,
I know when I stand in front of real estate audiences and I'm like, multiple streams of income is not how you get rich.
Yes.
Everybody goes, oh,
yes.
Like they don't. That's like, well, I can't believe you said that.
But it's so true though, because, that's not to say that later you can't have them.
Later.
But if you don't go deep and master the one thing first, like I've been guilty of that. I know one of the things we're going to talk about are struggles I've had, like buying more offices and trying to do this and trying to do that to have all these different streams of income when really I'm chasing all these things and none of them were none of them were great instead of just like going all in on one. So that was an interesting part that I kind of had to rewire my brain around, but it's so true.
Well, I'm glad you didn't get mad at me when you first heard it. You're so coachable.
No, I thought Gary might though.
Yeah, I know. Well, Gary Keller, I remember when I had a pre-event call, because I think that's how we met first, right? Was when I spoke at Keller Williams National
Yes, I had
Convention.
followed you and studied your stuff for a long time. So when they brought you in, I was like, yes, this is it.
When Gary got on the pre-event call, I was like, I can't believe that Keller Williams wants me to talk about building a personal brand.
Yeah.
And I was so scared because I'm like, Gary, don't you want people to like build the Keller Williams brand?
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no.
No, he never has.
Like I almost thought it was like, do you realize that your team has brought in to speak and what I'm talking about? And he was like, no, that's why I brought you here.
Yeah.
I don't want my people to build a Keller Williams brand. I want them to build their own brand.
Yeah, that is the sole reason why I joined Keller Williams, really, because, and not to say anything negative, but I was with a company before Remax, and Remax is great. I have tons of friends at Remax, but it was about Remax and the balloon. And I remember when I came to Keller Williams, when I went to the first training, like I heard, it's about you. You should build your brand, because on the real estate side, clients, over 80% of them don't know the brokerage that their realtor is with. They only know their realtor. So if you aren't branding yourself, which again goes back to our initial conversation of why this is so impactful and so important for real estate professionals, they don't really care who you're with. And I say that as a brokerage owner with 600 agents. As brokerage owners, we just have to give the most value to our agents, because the brand really isn't it. The brand is about the realtor themselves specifically.
Amen. I mean, the same would be true if you're a financial advisor. It's like,
totally.
I don't care if you're with Morgan Stanley or
Northwest,
like, I don't even
Mutual,
understand what any of that stuff is. I'm just like, okay, like Chris is my guy. And I'm like, I trust Chris.
Totally.
Same with the dentist. It's
Yep.
like, I don't know where you went to school. I don't know like who does your certifications. I'm just like, do I
You know
like
them.
you?
Yeah.
Right. Do I trust you? It's so
Yeah.
personal.
It is.
Um, so that's really encouraging to me. You're such a great example. 600 agents you have.
Yeah. All the Keller Williams people joke and say I'm the brand builder's poster child because I talk about it and teach it in everything because I really believe, Rory, so many, again, real estate specific, but then I'm sure this applies to everyone. I really think so many are going to wake up in 3 years and be like, oh crap, I really missed the boat on this. And Gary has taught us a saying, anytime there's a shift in the market, which right now there is a shift in the market. I mean, the market has shifted already. We are already in a shift. Buyers finally have said, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not going to pay that for that house. Like, that's crazy. So it's kind of shifted the market around. But Gary always says, anytime there's a shift, there will be agents that gain market share that they keep forever. And there will be other agents that lose market share that they never get back. And I've been teaching all of my agents right now. I think personal branding and marketing truly is that differentiator between that shift. Like, if they aren't leaning in on that, they're going to look up after this shift and say, oh crap, I wish I would have because I've lost market share to the people who are showing up and are building a brand. Because another fun fact, the average consumer right now can name 8 realtors off the top of their head. So if you
Totally.
aren't number one, I mean, and maybe more than that in bigger cities like, Nashville or Charleston or Columbus or wherever, I mean, everybody is a realtor almost. So if you aren't building the brand and you aren't the first one that they name, then what does it matter? I mean,
Yeah, that's totally true. I mean, because everybody, people come and go out of it, real estate with lots of professions, and you go, a lot of it is, I think of whoever I've seen most recently.
that's right.
Right. And so it used to just be like, oh, I forgot. And I saw someone at a Christmas party or birthday party. I'm like, oh, yeah, they could sell my house. But it's like with social and content
Yeah.
marketing, it's like people can see you every
Yep,
day.
totally. Well, we used to say it would be like, oh, I still have your magnet on my fridge from 7 years ago, and so I'll call you now. But that's not the case. I mean, they're looking at who's telling their story the loudest on social media.
So, okay, honest question here. Honest question. So you were very, very successful way before you found us, but you've been a very steadfast client of Brand Builders
hmm
Group. Why would you invest to learn from us? And how has it been helpful to you since you
Yeah.
were already successful, but like you're still investing and learning this stuff. Why are you doing that at your level? And how has it been useful to
Yeah.
someone even at, I guess, like at your advanced level in your
Well,
business?
I mean, easy answer for me. Number one, you said the word. I see it as an investment, not as an expense. And I think even a lot of semi-successful to successful entrepreneurs are afraid to spend money on stuff, or they see it as an expense instead of an investment into yourself. And sometimes it's hard to measure that, right? Like you can't say, oh, I have this specific ROI because I've been doing this, but you just have to think like, I'm not in this for the next 3 or 5 years. Like I'm doing this for a lifetime. And that to
Chris,
me,
can we get the lifetime agreement? Can we get out the lifetime contract? She's ready. She
perfect. Okay, perfect. But it's true because I just don't see it going away. I mean, well, to be honest, Roy, and transparent, to own real estate brokerages and to also want to build my brand and do other things like the books and speaking and things, I still have to be attractive. My job right now is to recruit realtors to my brokerage. I mean, that's at the end of the day, I want to impact all of their lives and I want us to grow. And so I want to continue to build my brand and be known so that these other agents in central Kentucky, Lexington, and surrounding areas in Columbus, Ohio look up and say, wow, if I want to grow my real estate career and if I want to be in it for the long haul and I want to be getting the best of the best of the best, like I got to be in Dana Gentry's offices.
Mm.
And unless I'm building my brand and continuing to invest in myself, then, they're not going to do that. It's the way that I look at it. But brand builders specifically, your content is so rich. I mean, you can I've been almost 2 years now and I'm pretty in it. Like I'm got my calls with her, like I'm pretty in it, but I feel like I've barely scratched the surface sometimes. Like it's just the content is so rich. And if you at all are lost, even if you're successful, but you're lost in like, okay, how do I even build my, it's baby steps like the whole way through. And I mean, it's just the best. I tell everybody. And I love getting my little monthly income coming in because I'm like, you need to be with brand builders and you need to be with brand builders because I really do believe it. I mean, I'm not going to say something, that I don't believe, but it just has impacted me so much. And Rory, had success, but I didn't know how to chunk it down into what I now know my 4 pillars are that have
Mm,
led to 2 decades of success.
mm.
And I'd never heard of an expert bio in my life. I mean, there's just so many things.
Terms.
Yeah, it's just there's so many things and I'm like, but what's happened is with each step that I've learned, it's worked. I mean, my following, not that the number matters. I know in the data, you say the numbers, the follower number doesn't matter, but I have seen my followers grow. I've seen my offices grow. I have seen the level of people that I've been able to attract. In fact, you'll crack up over this. I don't know if we want to say this on here or not, but I just had a huge team join one of my offices in Kentucky. I've known him for years. He's been a friend of mine, and he just joined. And
From a different brokerage?
from a different brokerage. Yes, he just
Wow.
joined. Yeah, they do about 25 million a year in volume in Central Kentucky. He's a great, great guy. Such a great team, and our negotiation, part of what I am providing for him is 12 months of a brand builder's contract.
Wow.
He asked for that. And I was like, what's making you ask for that? And he's like, honestly, I've just seen what it's done for you. You talk about it all the time and I want it to be part of my deal. And I was like, okay. And what can you say? Because he's following exactly what I've been.
What you're doing.
Yeah. So I'm like, perfect. So they actually joined on Monday just this week. They transferred their licenses. So he's like, when do I get to start my brand builder stuff? I'm like, I'll get it. I'll get it.
That's awesome, Dana.
But I believe it. I mean, it works.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just us, right? You're in mentorship with John Maxwell. I know
Yeah.
you've done several of
Well,
my
you
friends.
have to have an investment mindset, period. I mean, personal growth. If John has taught me, if you what does he always say? He says you will never regret investing in your personal growth. Like never, ever, ever. Like there's no amount of money, there's no amount of time because when you get better, everybody gets better.
I've always been fascinated that, like when I first heard about personal development, I'd have people who were like, oh, those people are just like trying to take money from you or they're scamming you or whatever. And so I thought when I would go to an event, it would be like all the like really needy, desperate, broke people.
No, it's all the like.
It's the opposite.
Yeah.
It's people like you. And you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like, and the more you pay,
the better
the better the quality of the person is that's there.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, this is the opposite of that. And you go, oh, that's why they are there because these are the people who have invested the most in themselves.
Yeah.
And
I used to say in one of my talks that I would do, I would talk a little bit about being intentional with investing in yourself. And I would say from stage, Adam and I spend 6 figures a year on personal development, and we do. And people would be like, I could just see their faces and I would think, am I losing them? Because I was never saying it from like oh, we can afford it. We're, nothing like that. I was trying to say we believe in it so much and we've seen the return so much that we put it in our budget to make sure that we're investing in ourselves.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and that's, it shows.
Yeah.
It shows. And as a leader, separate from like building a personal brand and separate from your own performance, one of the things that I always think of as a leader is my job is to learn because the more I learn, the more valuable I am to my team.
Totally.
Right? The more I can develop the people around me, the more I can bring them opportunities, the more that we invent and create things that provide infrastructure. And so it's not just an investment in yourself. People talk about that, which it certainly is, but it's also an investment in yourself is an investment in your team because of who you become as a leader.
Yeah. Well, you'll understand this, but so I obviously am a person of faith and a believer. And so I look at leadership as stewardship. And so I really believe that, God has given me these people and these agents and these brokerages and whoever on Instagram, whatever, to steward. And so I don't feel like I can steward them well if I'm not constantly learning and growing and making myself better. I feel like I would be, I don't know. I just feel like that's not the right thing to do as a leader, especially when you look at it from a stewardship perspective.
So let's go there for a little bit because your faith, has been a big part of your life.
Yeah.
And I think, you and Adam are very successful, great reputation, obviously incredible team, results, all of that. Was there a time like, take me back to when it wasn't that. Like, take
Yeah.
me back to the time when was there ever a time where you were experiencing self-doubt or, like, when
Yeah.
you were going through struggles, and what did that look like?
Yeah.
Walk us through some of that.
Totally, 100%. So I was not a good student. I did not like school. In high school, I had a weird kind of series of events where I was two people that were close to me at two separate times both got killed in car accidents,
Wow.
friends of mine, and it kind of it really sent me into Rory like what just panic. Like I had horrible panic attacks, horrible anxiety attacks, and at the time I was only 17, 16, 17 years old. And so I remember going to the doctor and they, you know, prescribed me Xanax at 16 years old.
Whoa.
And I struggled for a couple of years, really, I mean, a lot. Like I could not get off of it. I mean, I just, everywhere I went, I had to, take something, which is so not like me because I barely even take Tylenol today. But then it just, I mean, I became hooked on it. And I really, really struggled because I was in such a deep place because I was having such horrible panic attacks. I remember one time being in Panera and I just had if anybody listening has ever had a panic attack, but like it just like everything closes in on you and you just have to get out, and it was just horrible. I couldn't fly. I couldn't do all these things. And God really, no pun intended, totally restored me. Like he healed me. I went cold turkey one day. I stopped taking um, the pills and just my life was, I had always been in church, but God totally just restored and healed my life then. And when I look back, it's interesting to see kind of how my life was then. I didn't graduate college. I went to college. I dropped out of college. I got my real estate license. And I used to be so embarrassed to tell people that I didn't have a college degree. I mean, I would go in these rooms with all these, people, and they would be like, where'd you graduate from? I graduated from here. I graduated from there. And I'm like, I never graduated. I dropped out.
Mm.
And so it's just funny, those things that you carry along with you. But I've been able to just look at every turn like God put the exact person in my life at the exact time, from the person that said, you'd be great in real estate. You should get your real estate license. Just to then, oh, you should talk to somebody at Keller Williams. Like every single thing has just been lined up. And it definitely was not
Were
always
you
like
always
that.
close to God, or, like, going back to that, like, whole sort of Xanax season, did you pray for that intervention? Like that, because that's like a cold
I
turkey
was like
stop?
I mean, I went to church my whole life growing up, but I don't know, I wasn't like deep in the Bible or anything as it then. I mean, I went to youth group and stuff like that. But I knew enough to pray about it, to be like,
Mm.
okay, God, the only way I'm going to get better and get off of this or get to live a normal life is if you heal me. So I just remember I would try to read my Bible and then I would really pray about it. And then, but I was a kid at the time. But yeah, and I just think, I don't know, I'm so grateful because it's like God has just kind of swooped me along in every single thing that has ever happened. It's just, I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's such a blessing.
Mhm. It is there anything when you look back that you go, I should have done that differently? And
Mm-hmm.
specifically in the realm of, like, reputation and sort of like personal brand building,
Mm-hmm.
or that, because, um, again, it's interesting to hear where you started, look at where you are now,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking about the people who are in the more of the struggle.
Yep.
Right? Like, somebody is listening right now who is struggling,
Yeah.
and they're just, like, trying different things
Yep.
and spinning their wheels and burning
Yeah.
out, and, like, uh, was there a time where you kind of had that, and then
Mm-hmm.
you're like, "I was doing this for a long time. I should have been doing this, and it took me a while to make that switch, and once I did, I finally got momentum."
Yes, definitely. And I mean, my pillars that you all helped me kind of develop. So when I look back over the last 2 decades, what I think has led to this significance, I'd say success and significance today, has been really four things. It was learning to be really intentional. I had no clue. I never even heard the word intentionality until I met John Maxwell.
Mm.
So, I mean, I didn't know what intentional looked like. And today, one of the things I teach is if you are stuck or you're drifting or you're in that struggle zone, how truly intentional are you being with your time, your talent, and your treasures? Because if you aren't being intentional with your time or with the talent that God has given you, or even the little bit of money or the lot of bit of money that you have, then he's not going to give you favor and bless you to get out of that to keep going. So I wish I would have learned intentionality way before I did. I'm grateful that John taught it to me.
So I want to pause on that for a second. So
Okay.
what you just said, because you're talking about intentionality, you're saying you believe that if you're not being intentional with what God has given you so far, you think that there's no evidence to suggest you're going to get more until you've basically stewarded what you have. Is that what you're saying?
Definitely. Yeah, it's biblical and truthfully, I mean, we are called to be intentional. And so I think, and for so many years, I look back and I was what I call semi successful. So, I mean, I just was drifting. Like I was winging it at every turn. And it was about me. It wasn't about the other people that I was, serving or, it was about success, not about significance. And
Mm.
What John Maxwell has always taught and teaches everybody, not just me, but is when you think about being successful, it's about you. And when you think about living a life of significance, it's about serving others. And you say the same thing. And I think that mindset shift, for me, I've always had a servant's heart, but from a business perspective, especially in real estate, I mean, it's a grind and it's very uber competitive.
It is super competitive.
So competitive. And so you can get caught in this trap. And I'm sure this is the same with, I don't know. I have friends in pharmaceutical sales and medical. I mean, all of that. It's the same. Any sales is like that. But I think for me, it was almost like just winging it and going day by day and like whatever is thrown at me next is the fire that I'm putting out. Or instead of saying, okay, like today, for instance, I don't really do any calls. I mean, maybe there's an occasion or a meeting or something, but I try not to before 10 a.m.
Hmm.
but I get up at the crack, same as you, I'm sure. But the reason is because I've learned if I'm not intentional with the time in the morning and I start my day, blah,
Reactive or
yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
then it's my whole week is screwed up. And so it's just like being so intentional with your time. Adam and I take the week, the day after Christmas until the end of the first week of January every year. We go to Florida to visit his mom, take the kids, and we map out, we do our vision boards. We have our month at a glance paper calendars that we'll plan for the whole entire year. We put our vacation. I mean, it's just living with intentionality, which to some people may sound like, woo woo or whatever, but it's worked and it works for me.
Yeah. I've become very convicted as I've gotten older that like
Mm-hmm.
excellence is never an accident.
Never.
Like it never just like, oh, I tried this. It's just like, oh, it just worked. It's like, that's never the story you hear.
Yeah.
So if you go, well, that makes sense, then you go, okay, we'll take that to the next level. Then what does it look like? It means that excellence is methodical, which
Yeah.
means you plan for it, you prepare for it, you expect it,
Yeah.
you adjust for sure. Cause I think excellence is messy always.
Always.
But it's like it's not an accident. You start in a direction
Yeah.
and you have to sort of map out that path. And again, it's like here you are doing the things we talk about, getting up early and reading and doing coaching and
Yeah.
praying and reading the Bible and doing vision boards. And you go like, isn't all that stuff kind of like cheesy? And you go, maybe, but look what it's brought you. Look what it's brought me. Look what it's
Totally.
like. Everybody who
Mhm.
came from such little and done so much. They're like, these are the things I do.
Yeah.
Um,
I always think it's interesting too because, I think there's, I don't know your background, but I mean, I didn't really come from money. So, I mean, whatever I've had, I've, worked for, been blessed. God has, given it to me. But I've always heard people say, when you know what it's like to not have money, then you really aren't ever afraid of that because if something happened, you would just do it again.
I was talking about this with AJ like literally last night.
I think it's so true. Do you?
Because I was just like, I'm so grateful constantly because
Yeah.
everything I have is always going to be better than wherever I started.
Yep.
And it's like, and I'm not afraid to go back there. And there's a few times in my life where I've had to like take some steps like
Me too.
pretty far backwards. And it's like, and it's okay. Like it. So I am grateful for that. Now, where I get worried about that, here's what worries me is my kids.
We talk about this all the time.
We grew up poor. Like we couldn't afford box cereal. We didn't
Yeah.
get to go on vacations.
Yeah.
We didn't get to didn't get to go out to eat.
Yeah, you didn't wear Lululemon.
Right. And it's like
Well, you have boys. So.
our kids, so we're about to move into our new house like on Friday.
Yes.
And we've been building this house for 2 years. And I literally the other day, we're like doing our final walkthrough and I'm going, oh my gosh, like my kids are growing up in a world that is so radically different.
Yeah.
And that's where I worry about it, because I'm like, they're not going to know, they're never going to have known
Yeah.
anything different.
Yeah, ours are the same. I mean, we live in Mount Pleasant, Charleston. I mean, they have like some of their friends get boats for their 16th birthdays.
Yeah,
Like it's
whoa.
crazy. But I will tell you what, Adam and I talked to John Maxwell one time about that, and John did say something that kind of made me feel a little bit better about it. And I do believe this. He did say that when your kids grow up with that, of course they're grateful, and I'm sure yours are the same. And, they like we go on mission trips and we try to be, again, very intentional with having them understand this isn't normal,
Yeah.
the way you grow up. But John said that sometimes when your kids have grown up that way, with that when they become adults, they do kind of level up because they want to continue the
Right.
lifestyle and they want to continue the vacations and those things. And so he said, I can't say that for everybody. And he said, but for the most part, what I see is like they become very successful young adults into adults because they say, okay, I've seen my parents live this life and I want to, kind of
It's
keep doing the same thing.
Their expectation level is just higher.
Yes.
And so I
Yeah.
think for a lot of people who are in a situation where they don't have much,
Yeah.
they struggle to believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
Like I remember I tell a story all the time. Like the first time that I said I want to be a New York Times bestselling author, might as well have said I'm going to be the president of the United States. Like the distance between where I was and that,
Yeah.
those were the same distance. Like
Mhm.
they were equally impossible, right? And I think a lot of people they can't get the logic or rationale of their mind wrapped around something so big
Yeah.
because they've never tasted it. They've never experienced it. They don't know anybody who has done it. They don't know how to do it. They don't know
Yeah.
how to get started. And so it just seems impossible. And so they
Mhm.
don't. I think, when you grow up around successful people, it's like you are programmed of like, we talk about money. We know about taxes. We start businesses. We
Yeah.
hire people. We delegate stuff.
Yep.
We invest in tools and people and
Mhm.
technology and whatever. So I do think that it's just, I just want to make sure they're not entitled little jerks.
Yeah, we do. We do also. we Adam and I get in the hot tub every night, almost every night, like before bed. And people have been messaging me on Instagram saying, "I can't believe with how much of a health nut you are. You all get in a hot tub." But I'm like, it's salt water. Like we're good. It's not all the chemicals. But every night in the hot tub, I mean, I would say 50% of the time, that's what we talk about. Like, how do we make sure that the kids are just not entitled or that they're appreciative and grateful honestly, I think it's just keeping them in church. I mean, for us, that's what it is. Like keeping them, and I was so proud. This has nothing to do with anything we're talking about, but I will tell you. So it's my bonus son, Adam's son, Addison. He's getting ready to be 18. He's 17 years old and he has had his first girlfriend. And so he was sitting in the hot tub with us 2 nights ago and we were and sometimes that's our time to like talk and ask questions. And, everybody's so busy. They play tennis 7 hours a day. So we don't get to ask that many questions during the day.
Wow.
But we were sitting in the hot tub and we were talking about his girlfriend. She just went to the mountains with us for Thanksgiving. And he said, yeah, we just had this conversation that it's really important to us 100% that we're saving ourselves for marriage. And Adam and I were in the hot tub like, great. That's
That's a great news.
That's great news.
That's great news.
But when we got out, all that to say, when we got out, I mean, Adam was like, I'm so proud. He was like, I don't think he could have said anything that would have made me more proud because he said, we just don't know what goes through their head or, especially when you have you and AJ are the same. When you have 2 working parents that work full time that are all that, I mean, it's just, it's different. It's totally a different time, but I think we just have to keep them and keep good people around them, like their friends and stuff.
Yeah. Well, to come back to your word intentional,
Yeah.
which by the way is what this is. You've got 4 pillars.
Yes.
This is book 1.
Yes.
Which is based on that pillar. Tell us a little bit about Restore.
Yes. Okay. So Restore started out as a 365 daily reader. And then through working with Larissa and Brand Builders, I was like, okay, that along with running the other businesses that I do 365 days is a little overwhelming to me. So I'll never forget Larissa said, people like fast. They like pack a punch. They want to read. Like, why don't you just do 90 days? And I'm like, why have I never thought of that? Why am I trying to do 365 days?
I think that's great.
Yeah. So I changed it to 90 days. So it is 90 days, a daily reader of intentional living in your life, faith, and business. So even if you are not a believer, you should still read the book. You will get a ton from it business wise. I basically, Rory, thought, okay, in my 3rd pillar that I talk about, we'll have to talk about another time, but it's just the power of proximity. Having proximity to great people like Linda McKissick, like Gary Keller, like John Maxwell, and so many others. Now I would say your brain is opened up to so much more. So in the book, I shared 90 lessons of intentional living. And it's all just a lot of people I've met, a lot of stories. Speaking of excellence, one of the stories in the book I talk about is I heard Tim Grover, the coach of all the greats, speak one time.
It was like Michael Jordan's
Yeah,
personal
Michael Jordan,
coach.
Kobe,
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant. I mean, Steph,
Steph Curry?
Curry. Yeah, there's so many of them. But he tells the story, and I share the story on one of the days in the book of how he got to coach MJ. People were like, "How in the world did you get to coach Michael Jordan?" And he said, "Well, I sent letters to he said, funny story. I sent letters to everybody." I'm hearing him tell this like on stage at an event that I was at, and I was just blown away with it. He said, "I sent a letter to every single player on the team, but I did not send Michael Jordan one because he was the untouchable." And he said, "I sent letters to everybody on the team saying, I'm a coach. Here's the way I can help you. Here's what I can do for your game. Here's how I can, do for your life, blah, blah, blah." And he said, several weeks later, I get a call from a representative from Michael Jordan. And he said, "Michael Jordan wants to talk to you." And Tim said that he's like, "This is weird. I didn't send him a letter. Like I never had a connection." Long story short, he gets to meet with Michael. And at the end, Tim says, "So curious, like, I'm excited to work with you, but how did you get to me?" And Michael said, "Well, we were in the locker room," and he said, "I heard all the other players talking about this letter that they got." And he said they were saying that some coach was like basically stalking all of them, wanting to, to get their business or whatever. And he said, "And I've always believed that the best of the best always keep getting better." And he said, "And I just wanted to know who the coach was that everybody was talking about." But that lesson to me, like, talk about intentionality. I mean, if when you live with intentional living, that is true what he said. The best of the best are always looking to get better. So you're always trying to see, how can I be more intentional with, time, talent, treasures, whatever, in your business, in your day to day. So yeah, the book is all about that, and also just some personal stories shared in there too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, first book. Can you
Love.
and tell everyone who's Larry, because you said you're talking about Larissa. They don't know who Larry
Oh
is.
my gosh, Larissa. Actually, how do you pronounce her last name?
Salazar.
Salazar. Okay, I always never want to say it wrong. Larissa works with you for Brand Builders, and
With us.
with you, and she was not my first coach. She was actually my second coach with Brand Builders.
Okay.
And oh my gosh, now she coaches my husband, my friend Tyler. I mean, there's my friend Ashley. I mean, there's so many.
Because are you talking about Tyler Dickerhoof?
Yes.
Oh yeah, she coaches Tyler now.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right.
because Tyler's like, been with Brand Builders for a long time. I'm like, you need Larissa. But she's helped me. I mean, oh my gosh, Rory, you're so blessed to have her. She is just the best.
Yeah.
And she gets me, which is good.
She's amazing. And it's like, I'm very deliberate about that. It's like, she doesn't work for me. She works for you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she works for herself, but she works for you.
Yeah.
But we
so she's so talented. Oh my gosh.
She's incredible. And we have so many. Chris is over here. He's one. I will say, like, I've said this a few other times, like, the biggest compliment that I get professionally is, how do you get so many amazing people to work as part of Brand Builders Group? And it's like, Lord's favor, God's blessing, our team.
Yeah.
But it is like, our team is amazing.
I just heard John say something. Actually, it was at the event that you spoke at in West Palm. I think you weren't there. This was before you spoke. He said he did his first lesson around team building and just how to build really great teams and how to have, team members forever. And he shared a stat. I'm probably going to butcher it, but he said something like, if after 6 years you have more than 8 people with you in your organization that have been with you for 8 years that have been with you for 6 years or longer. So if you can look up and identify 8 people who've been with you 6 years or longer, he said, you are like an anomaly. That doesn't happen with leaders anymore, or business owners.
People don't stay 6 years.
No, not at all. And so he was talking about how to pour into your team members and all those things. But he said that having long-term tenure team members like that is actually what creates other people that want to be with you. Like, you get the best of the best.
Well, and it's going back to that thing as a leader, and I want to ask you about being about building personal brand and leadership in a second, but like, to that thing about learning, and it's one of John's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I think the law of the lid. It's like, if you don't grow as a leader, then people can't keep growing themselves, and then they're going to leave you.
Totally.
So I'm just totally curious about this. So you have 600 agents.
Yes.
Would you actively encourage them to go build a personal brand, like, separate of like you and your team and Keller Williams, and like,
Yes.
You would tell them to do that?
100% yes. Yeah. And here's another reason. Okay. One, because it's the right thing for them. I mean, truthfully, that's how they're going to grow their business. Like I said earlier, I don't want them to look up. I always tell my agents, I never want you to look up one day and say, why did Dana never tell us this was going to happen or this, wasn't. And I also, Gary has this magic crystal ball of like the future of real estate. I don't know how he does it. So I'm blessed to get to learn from him. But when you look at the personal brand side of things, I just, I already see it, Rory. I already see successful agents who have had good, and leaders in general, I mean, who have had good businesses. I already see them starting to go backwards because they aren't building their personal brand. And
Mm.
I think it's so important. And then also, I want them to build their personal brands and have the biggest brand possible and be with me because all that's going to do is attract more people to us.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the agent who just joined, who I'm going to do the 12, I'm like, yes, I would love for you to do that and come over and build your brand because I want people to be like, wow, look at him. He's this huge agent and he's with Keller Williams Legacy Group. He's with Dana. Like, I just think it will multiply.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. And
And
that
I also think you can't have a scarcity mindset around
I was
losing.
just gonna
Yeah,
say that is another key part of the mentality is it's the abundance
totally.
mentality to go,
Yeah.
I can't help you win and me lose as a byproduct. Like
No.
if I help you win, I'm only gonna win. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's more indirect, but
Yep.
it's like it is that. And the people who are like it's kind of the old adage used to be it was like you should invest in training your people. And the manager's like, well, I don't want to spend any money training them. What if I train them and they leave?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, the real question is, what if you don't train them and they stay?
Totally.
And that's kind of like how the personal brand thing is. It's like,
Mhm.
well, what if I help them build a personal brand and they leave? And you're like, well, but what if you don't and they
Mhm.
stay? They're not going to be growing and
Yeah.
building.
Well, and I've been telling mine, even in, I just taught these big end of the year business planning clinics where I actually show them your data trend report and have them download it and everything because I'm like, you guys, this is.
You're using your affiliate link for
Yes.
that?
Oh,
Okay, good.
yeah. Yes,
Okay,
I
good.
do. Larissa taught me how to do that a year later, but
Good.
yes, I am now. But I even tell them then, I almost feel, I don't want to say pressure because that's kind of a negative word, but there is somewhat of a pressure for me to build my brand because I can't get on stage and tell them to do something that I'm not doing.
True.
Like that is not, that would not be good. Like I wouldn't be able to, I don't feel like that's great leadership. And so part of the reason why I've been investing so heavily in it myself is because I want to model it for them. And I also want them to say, okay, wow, well, if Dana's telling us to do this and she's doing it, then, I need to do it too. I don't know. I just don't think people learn from leaders that are telling them to do things, but they aren't doing them themselves.
Yeah, one of our strategists. This is another one of our strategists who's awesome. His name's Ben Kolarczyk. He's downstairs actually right
Is he
now.
the podcast?
No, that's Matt.
Oh,
He's
okay.
also awesome. I mean,
Okay.
they're all awesome.
They're all
Our team's
awesome.
awesome. But Ben told me something this morning, and this is a quote from him. Is he said, building a personal brand is a professional insurance policy.
Oh, I love that.
And I was like, "That's so good," because he's like, what if the company goes out of business?
100%.
What if you get
yes.
laid off?
Yep.
What if AI replaces that industry?
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you have a personal brand, you pivot, no problem,
Yeah.
trust, do the next thing.
It's so true.
And it's really, really good.
Oh, I'm going to use that. Well, and Gary Keller has been saying this thing because all these realtors specifically have been freaking out that AI is going to replace real estate agents or replace, lenders or replace whoever. And Gary came out maybe last year and said, he said it from stage and now everybody says it, but he said AI is not going to replace realtors. Other realtors that adopt AI are going to replace the realtors that don't. And I've been saying that about the personal brand. Like, I really believe that. I mean, I think that the ones that in any business, not even real estate, I know there's tons of people listening that aren't in real estate, whatever business it is, if they aren't building a personal brand, their competitor who is probably going to be the one to take market share from them.
Yes. Yes. I think that's really, really true. All
And
right.
it all hit fast. I feel like.
AI?
No, like I mean, the personal branding, obviously personal branding and marketing has been a thing, but I feel like now, just over the last several years, you were like God's timing on it. Perfect. Because now I just feel like people care so much about it more than they ever have before.
Yeah. I think it's like all the barriers of like having to have big media or a huge team or lots of
Mm-hmm.
technology,
Mm-hmm.
even now, like we're vibe coding. we're vibe coding apps. Like I vibe coded an app over the weekend that in our former company, we spent over $250,000
Wow.
to build an app. I built it in like a few hours over the weekend.
Isn't that
And I
wild?
never thought we'd be able to do that. And certainly that I never personally would be able to do it. I've been using AI to write songs. This is this is my new
I saw that for
distraction.
your brother or sister-in-law or sister or somebody.
Yeah, I have written 5 songs.
You need to talk to John Maxwell. He's been writing songs with somebody in Nashville.
Has he really?
Yes.
I mean, because it's
But who was singing that one for their wedding?
AI.
AI?
Yeah. So I'm writing them. I'm
It's your
writing them,
lyrics.
but I'm able to use AI to put the music and the voice, because I've always thought I would be a great songwriter because I'm a writer, right? And I'll listen to songs on the radio and I'm like, if they would have changed that word or this line, it would be so much better.
Love it.
But I cannot sing at all. Like even in church, I'm like kind of quiet and like try to be in the front row so nobody can hear me because the band's so loud. And then, music, like forget it. I can't read it. I
Me
can't play the
neither.
recorder, like whatever. But I can write the lyrics and drop it into AI. And it's like the songs are.
Did they freak over
good.
that gift?
Yeah, they freaked out. So I wrote AJ asked me to write it for her brother.
Was her brother? Yes. Okay.
For her brother was getting married, and they loved it. And then AJ's like, I want one for Christmas. So I wrote her a song for Christmas, which no one has heard yet.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
then I wrote a song called, well, I don't want to say it yet because it's not published, but I wrote a song that is, I've written songs based on some of the most viral concepts that I've taught in personal development
Wow.
and like turning them into songs.
And you're right here in Nashville. Like you need to hook up with somebody to.
Yeah, right. So,
That's so cool.
but
Yeah.
diluted focus, diluted results. That's like our mantra. So I'm just like,
So you could just keep it as a hobby.
it just needs to be a hobby.
Yeah.
It just needs to be a hobby. But I think that the world is changing, and it's like whether we like it or not.
It is,
It's
yeah.
just the question should not be whether you like it or not. That's completely irrelevant. It's
Yeah.
just like, how are you going to use this?
Yep.
And we have to be thinking that way, and I love it. So
Yeah.
where do you want people to go to learn more about you?
Yes,
If they
okay.
happen to be looking for a career in real estate, that obviously they can come
That'd be
find
great.
you. And, if they want to move an entire team over to
Yeah.
you, now we know that's possible. And brand builders can be part of the package.
Yes. Love it.
But other than that, where do people go to find you and learn about the book?
Yes. Okay. So they can learn about the book at restoredevotional.com. I have
Okay.
tons of, what do we call them?
Pre-order incentives.
Yes,
and bonuses.
incentives, bonus. I have all the things on there. And then they can also follow me on Instagram. It's Dana G. Gentry. And also, I did put together a freebie of my exact intentional morning routine. So if someone's listening and you follow me on Instagram, you can just DM me the word Rory, and I'll send you the.
I got my own keyword.
Yeah, you got your own keyword. And I'll send you my intentional morning routine.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So I've got one last question for you, but before I just ask it, I just want to acknowledge, Dana. Like, I love who you are. I admire the marriage that you have with Adam, the way you build business, the way you invest in yourself, the way you invest in other people, the way that you serve. That you've moved from success to significance and service. The people in your network, and your willingness to innovate, right? And go like, hey, I'm going to learn personal branding and like apply that to real estate. And what's edifying for me is to see the fruit you're experiencing in your life.
Yeah.
Obviously your faith also, and to go, you're doing all of these things and it's working, right? So, what if somebody's out there right now and they happen to be in a moment where they're not jamming, like they're not having the peak experience of life, and they're struggling. What's kind of like the last encouragement or, advice that you would maybe give to that person?
Well, first, thank you for saying all that so much. And thank you for what you've done here. I mean, Adam and I say all the time, but what you and AJ are building, it's truly impacting people's lives. I mean, it really is, from huge names to nobody names that maybe will be huge names, at some point. It's been incredible to watch and incredible to be a part of. And I think, Rory, I'll look even 5 years from now and say, wow, I'm so grateful that I met Rory and Brand Builders and Larry and everybody, because I know I can just see the fruits from it that it's been in my life. So thank you. And for someone who maybe feels in that, honestly, I would say do what I did, which was the day that God gave me the idea to write this book to begin with. I was down and out. This was even May of last year. I had just lost my dad very unexpectedly. I was, had all the demands from all these people all the time. I just didn't want to look at my phone because I was like, I'm going to kill somebody if I get one more, And I canceled everything for the day. I took a chair. I went outside in nature. I went to the beach. That's my place. It might be a mountain or wherever for whoever's listening. And I just journaled and prayed. And honestly, I just kind of sat and was still. I didn't listen to a podcast. I didn't listen to an audiobook. I mean, I didn't do anything. I just was still and I just let God speak to me and I just got real clear on who I am and what would give me energy to do for the next 20 years. Because I think so many people are stuck in something that maybe they don't love, which again is furthermore why you should build a personal brand. But um I don't know. I think just go be still and listen and journal and don't be afraid. Just start writing and, let your thoughts flow out and pray about it and then really think about, okay, what could I do for the next 20 years? What would give me energy to do every single day that I know I could impact other people, be a good steward of whatever God's already given you, but that would fill you up because ultimately if whatever you're doing isn't giving you energy, or fueling or filling you up, you're just going to burn out. I mean, it's never going to work. So you've got to find like what is it that you could just keep doing for the rest of your life even. But that's what I would say.
I love it, friend. Well,
Yes.
God bless you
Thank you.
and your
You
team
too.
and your family. And thanks for being here. Thanks for letting us be a part of your journey.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.